There we go. There we go. Can everybody hear me? This is the first time I've tried doing a class, an actual class on Zoom. I think though, with all the ice and snow on Thursdays, we got to do something to get it going. So we're going to start with sit, stay. I think that sit, stay is, I think, a really, really useful command to have on a dog, no matter what your goals are, what you plan to do. And a well-behaved pet, being able to tell a dog to stay in any given position is a really handy skill. We used to, years ago, teach stay by putting the dog on a sit, and we'd walk to the end of the leash, then correct the dog and babble at the dog until the dog finally gave up. And we've learned that it is a whole lot easier for dogs to understand if we try to set them up to not make any mistakes on this. I want to try not to let my dog fail when I'm asking for a stay. There are 3 positions a dog could stay in. There's sit, down, and stand. All 3 of those positions are a totally different skill. I bring this up because a lot of people, and I'll see it in class, we'll be working on sit, stay, and I'll turn around and one of the dogs or 2 or 3 of the dogs will be laying down, and I will tell the owner, hurry, hurry, and get the dog back up. I think in our mind, we think that the dog is staying, so we're accepting them changing position, but dogs are experimental and they don't really understand what stay is yet. So if we allow them to, if we've said sit, stay, and we allow them to lay down, probably they're thinking, okay, what does this mean? Roll over, stand up, crawl across the floor. They just don't know. So we have to be, in anything we're teaching a dog, we have to be absolutely specific, 100% clear, black and white, only sit, only the sitting position is sit, stay. I have, let me get Allie Free, come here. Let me try to put this where you can see my dog. I have this little camera and the cord squiggles all over. So I'm trying to set it up so it's level. Okay, that didn't work. Let me see. I can put this down here. See what I can see there. Oh, good. Maybe we can see the dog here. All right, Allie. I'm going to get some treats. So this is a really well-trained dog. I have a younger dog here that doesn't have as many skills yet. Come on, Allie. Let's go. Let's see where we can. Oh, good. We can see you. All right. So get in. Get ready. So 100% of the time, we're going to start with the dog at our left side. We, all dogs, I think, unless you've shown dogs and trained dogs a lot, teach them to sit in front of us. So we need to spend some time teaching them to sit at our left side because that is the hardest position. So, and I talked about that in the lecture class. If a dog is going to get up, they're going to stand, they tend to move their nose forward. If they're going to lay down, they tend to move their nose down. Only this is sit, stay. Only this position is sit, stay. So we want to ensure that the dog can't move from this position. I'm going to put the leash and collar right up under their chin and behind their ears. Put a little bit of mild tension here. I'm going to move Ellie. Ellie Free, come on, over here. Let me move her this way. Sit. Good. Put the collar and leash here. Only one command to stay. Again, I talked about that in the lecture class. I'm going to give one command and then help the dog to do it. If you want a hand signal, even in competition, when we're leaving the dog, we can do hand and voice. And I do. I'm going to say stay, but this hand goes away. I'm not going to keep my hand up in the dog's face. It's stay and the hand goes away. Then I'm going to take my right foot, pivot in front, toe to toe. The dog can't move their nose forward very easily. And with mild tension, the dog should be absolutely comfortable. It's not tight or strangling, but they can't lay down. I'm not going to let them lower their head to lay down. With dogs just learning this, if they try to, or if they've been allowed to lay down, I don't want to fight them and I don't want to strangle them or hurt them. But if they try to lay down, I'm not going to let the leash loose. I would be really quick to pull a treat out of my pocket, put it on their nose, and bring them back up and help them get into this position. Okay, so I'm going to go in front. I'm going to tell them to stay once. You do not want to go in front and go stay, stay. You don't want to keep your hand up. That looks threatening. It looks interesting. It looks all kinds of things. The hand goes away after that initial stay, and we're just going to face the dog. We are 100% of the time going to start with the dog at our left, and then we're going to come back to this place before we release. The best way to use treats, I use treats in training, especially in teaching. The best way to use treats so that you can build it so the dog doesn't always need treats later on is always praise first. That makes your praise, even what a good girl, keep it calm, because none of this means you can get up. Say it, good dog, pet if you're going to, then be quiet, pull out the treat, feed the dog, and they may not move until I say the whole release word. My word is free. Good dog is a terrible choice. If I say, oh, good dog, yay, good, she better not get up or I would correct her. She cannot get up. Only free. Only free means you can move. Get up, good girl. All right. Only free means you can move. I'm going to trade to a baby, or young dog, is a yearling, in case, so I can show you with a dog that really doesn't know this well. But try to adjust your camera, you know, especially, this is Bill, right? With the golden. Is that Bill? You can turn on your volume. Oh, look at this. I think somebody else is trying to join. Okay. There we go. Okay. Bill, if you can adjust your camera so I can see your dog. Let me trade dogs here really quick. Here's a collar, because he's a big boy. The girl collar doesn't fit him. Come on, Ellie. Look up. Look up. Look up. Good girl. Come here, Questy. Come here, honey. Allie Kennel. And boy. Come here, Quest. Bill, can you adjust so I can see you? Buddy. I can't see you or hear you, Bill.
Can you hear me now?
Now I can hear you, but I can't see you.
Yeah, we lost the camera just a minute ago.
Oh.
And I don't know why.
Okay. And I see Terry's coming in. Are you trying? You don't think you can get it?
Well, I'm trying to find out why. Okay, leave. Oh, wait a minute.
Sometimes there's a thing on it that says,
knows how to do it. We don't know what happened. He knows how to do this.
oh, okay. Sometimes there's a link that says use video and audio, but I'm kind of a computer idiot, so I don't always get it. Oh, there you are. There's Terry. So we're talking about sit stay, Terry. So if you can put your camera way down low and just go further back in the room and I can see you. If you want to have me watch, you try it. So you're going to get the dog sitting next to you. And Terry, we talked about, so Bill, do you have a delicious cookie for the puppy?
She is.
She's a golden.
I know. That's okay.
We had it before. This is what we always have.
Right. Goldens are smart though. They can be silly. Come on. Questy, let's go. Get in. Get ready. Good. Good.
So,
Good. Sit. Good.
I got it right.
And Terry, if you want to kind of work along so I can see you, you're welcome to.
So-
So,
Shall we start now?
yep. Get the collar under their chin and up behind their ears.
Stay. There we go. Okay.
Have a cookie ready. Put it in your pocket though. It's hard for dogs to stay still if you've got cookies waving around your hand.
Okay.
And then say stay once. Just say stay and pivot in front. Keep a little mild tension above their head. Should be comfortable, but mild tension. Tell them to stay one time and go in front. Take your right foot and pivot in front.
Stay.
Right foot and pivot. Little tension above the head. If you say anything else, say good, stay, nice and calm. Good. Pivot back, pivot your body back. Praise them. What a good dog. Verbally praise, gently pat. Good dog. And then give them the cookie while you're quiet. And then say, quest free. Tell them free.
Free.
And walk, clap your hands. He doesn't know what free means either. Good. Don't make such a big party out of free. I want the stay to be, you know, the best thing. There's that cute little border collie.
All right.
Okay, so let's go. Even touch. Quest, come on, touch. Back. Come on, buddy.
Can I try this?
Questy, sit.
Come.
Good. 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 Very nice. There's a little border collie. And Terry, we said, I always start them at my left and I'm always going to end at my left in training. Later on with a trained dog, it doesn't matter too much. Now, if we're moving around or if we go in front
Go stay.
and we do anything, because we're going to start throwing a little bit more at them. If they get up, you literally have like 2 seconds to get back, get them in place before you're losing training ground. So if my dog gets up, if I'm in front, if my dog gets up, I'm not going to walk the dog around. Come on, come on, buddy. Set him up again, because in that case, the dog is getting a lot of attention for having gotten up. Get ready. If my dog gets up, that's free. My dog gets up, I'm just going to go, uh-oh, get my hand in the collar, tuck his tail, and stand back up. I'm not going to go back. I'm not going to walk around. I'm not going to fuss a lot. I don't say sit again, because if they don't, I'm losing my 2 seconds training time. It's going out the window. Okay. So I want to do it very quickly. The other thing I want to say, and we're going to push this a little bit, is really be careful, because this is kind of human instinct. We love to say free and then feed the dog. What did I just give my dog a cookie for? For getting up and walking around.
Yeah.
Okay, never forget, dogs live in the moment. The smarter and busier the dog is, the more that is the fact. Okay, when you live with border collies and corgis and Aussies, you know they're really quick thinkers and they're great anticipators. Goldens can be too. Well, they're very smart, but they're a little different in the head. Sit.
Wow.
Good dude, come on.
Yeah.
Sit. Thank you. You want to be really careful not to give them the wrong idea. If we give them a food reward or do a ton of praising after they get up, you're literally rewarding getting up. They're getting the biggest reward for moving around and bouncing around and not doing what we were working on. So I always want to think about any really good reward comes for doing what you were asked to do. All right, does that make sense?
Yes.
Really watch yourself, because that's a hard one. It's hard for people. So this is a little probably easier for everybody because you're, in the house. Sit. Good. So now we're going to try. And Terry, I said it's easier for dogs to not have a cookie in your hand when you're doing stay. I'm a dog person. We show dogs, we trial dogs, we do all kinds of things. I use hot dogs and cheese often because I use my mouth as a pocket. It's really easy to grab treats out of my mouth. Ah. And you know, Isla, who also shows dogs, would not be laughing. She's going like, well, yeah, mouths are great pockets. But I don't put liver or dog treats in my mouth, just
Ew.
hot dogs or cheese or, you know, bologna. I don't necessarily eat it. I give it to the dog. But so the next thing we're going to try is to get the dog sitting next to us. We're going to say stay one time. We're going to pivot in front. And then I'm going to have you step off center, facing the dog. Step off center to the right, back to the center, off center to the left, back to the center. We're going to come back. Praise, you're a good boy. Feed. Questy free. And release.
She's come.
Okay. And really think about it, free, you're not working anymore, should be kind of self-rewarding. Although when you really build a dog that likes to work, sometimes mine look at me because they know cookies come for working. So they kind of sit there and go, but I don't want to get up. I want to keep doing this. Okay, so get your dog sitting next to you.
He's bored.
Good.
Hey,
Tell them to stay. One command. Step off center, stay facing your dog. Step off center to the right, facing your dog.
good, she's good, Steve.
Back to the center. You should be in front of your dog. If they get up, Bill, you should be in front of your dog. When your dog,
I'm sorry, I'm one step ahead of you.
What's
I'll do it
that?
again.
step off center to the left. Back to the center. Pivot back to heel position. Praise them. Go back to heel. Good. Go back to heel position.
Good, Chase. Stay.
Praise them.
Brilliant.
Good. Make him work on the set. Make him sit next to you. Keep him next to you. Tell them they're a good dog. Don't let them get up. Good dog does not mean you get up.
Good.
Good. Calm. Then quietly give them a treat if you want. Good. And then tell them free and let them get up after the treat.
Good, she's a good stay.
Free. Good.
Free.
Good.
Hey, good.
There you go. Good. I'm trying to have you push it a little bit longer. I'm trying to have you, don't just come back and let them up. The other thing you end up with, if you come back to the dog and release them right away, you'll end up with a dog that the minute you come back wants to leap around.
Okay.
Dogs love body language and they try to find meaning in every single thing we do. So we want to be really careful to not do anything consistently that isn't stop. Sit. Good. So I want to stop it. Stay. Good. You know, I want to do stuff. We're going to throw some stuff at them. I want to stretch it out. We got to stretch it out. It can't be just sit, stay, go in front, go back and release. Calm, stretch it out. And I want to be able to come back here and say, you are so good. Very nice. Calmly. Good. Feed. Count to 3 and then release. But, and this dog is just not quite 1.5 years old. And he's kind of a big dork. But if I say good dog in any form, they may not get up. Good dog. Yeah. Woohoo. Good dog. You do not get up. Good dog only means I like what you're doing. Keep it up. The only thing that really means you can move is free. Saying that magic word. It's the only thing. Anything before I say that, I'm going to correct you. And by correct you, I mean, I'm going to make you right. I'm going to make you correct. All right. And that just depends on the dog. Whatever that is, just means I'm going to get your little butt back on the ground as quickly as I can. So I grab the collar, tuck the butt. Good. That's it. All right. So let's try it again. Let's sit your dogs. Come on, Quest. Right here. You sit. Tell them to stay. Go in front. Little leash over the head. Good. Take one step off center to your right, facing the dog. Back to the center. One step off center to the left. Good. Back to the center. Try taking one step back. Keep the leash above their head. Step back up close. Pivot back to heel position. Praise them. What a good dog, calmly.
Good girl. Good girl.
And feed if you want. Good. And then exercise finished. Good boy. Quest free. Just calmly release. Good. That was good, you guys. And with the little golden, just clap your hands. Tell her she's awesome. Just let her know.
Awesome.
Good. Good. Very nice. Usually in class, but we'll do it next week because there will be no more snow on Thursdays. I will, but you know, you might, if you have anyone else in your household or you're practicing with a friend around at all, have them sit. And I'll do this next week. But when you're in front, stay close. See if you can have somebody else walk up and give them a treat. If the dog leaps up because somebody's coming, have them palm the treat and turn their back. You know, make sure they're sitting quickly and then have them try again. The dog does not get the treat from a friendly person, whether it's a stranger or your spouse or somebody, until they sit and stay. Good. Good.
No.
You know, if you can practice that, and we'll do it in class when I can come around and have you help them stay and I can walk up and give them cookies. But it's a great thing to practice. It's free. I always tell people a lot of folks have trouble with, especially really friendly dogs, and hopefully they're all friendly dogs that like people. Not all dogs are, but you know, these guys typically can be. And a lot of people struggle with dogs leaping on everybody and going crazy and not being able to control themselves. I always tell students, I keep collars and leashes by the door that people come and go from at my house. And before I let anybody in, I'll say, just a minute, slip a collar and leash on any young dog that doesn't have good manners yet. I have the dog sit, and I tell people, please don't pet the dog unless he's sitting. And I will help him to do so. If he leaps up, please turn your back on the dog. Don't let him do it. All right? Just, the dog has to sit, and you keep him on a leash until he calms down. Dogs learn, and you can see this in any dog, any breed. Retrievers are particularly gregarious. Retrievers think the whole world just loves them and needs them in their arms.
Yep.
Yep.
Oh, yes.
I know my retrievers. I've had some collies too, and some are a little more standoffish. Probably the same with border collies and corgis, but
It's you.
Yeah.
dogs get attention for leaping and demanding. They're getting attention, and we start letting them do that as puppies, you know, leaping and demanding and going crazy. And they get attention because they're little fat, cute 8-week-old puppies, and then they're, 40, 50 pounds, or a lot bigger, and they're not so cute anymore when they're tearing people up, leaping and tripping you and everything else. So I start from the very beginning. No one is allowed to pet my dog unless their feet are on the ground and they're sitting. Or, I do a lot of confirmation too, as does Isla. They can do a nice stand, but your feet have got to be on the ground for anybody to touch you and pet you. You don't get attention from anybody for leaping and demanding. And use your sit stay for that. Sit stay is a wonderful skill for that. So we're going to try something. Questy free. I'm going to move him out so we have a good view, maybe. Quest. Good sit. Good sit. Good boy. All right. So we're going to try this, and just watch me for a minute. We're going to tell them to stay and go in front. We're probably going to take a step back, step off center like we have been doing. And then we're going to try this. I don't know if this dog's going to let me or not. He's young. We're going to try walking around them back to heel position.
Yeah,
all right. There are a couple of things to think about before you try this. And I have a great technique that I think works with most of them. First, don't sneak. You cannot sneak around a dog. Dogs notice everything. Don't go slow, and don't talk to them behind them. Just go quickly. Something you can do that I like a lot, because my dogs are very nosy and they like to look at everything. I'm gonna put the leash in my left hand, it's gotta be your left hand, and a delicious treat in my left hand. I'm put it on the dog's nose, let them lick it, nibble it. And then I'm going to keep my arm straight, to keep my dog's head straight as I walk around, get back to heel. What a good boy. It's like dangling a carrot on the donkey's nose. It's just keeping your left hand, it's gotta be your left hand. The right hand does not work for any of that. So let's try it as a group. Sit your dog next to you. Tell them to stay and go in front.
Stay.
Okay, take one step back. Nope, straight back. Face the little border collie. Get a little leash above. There you go. Take a step back. Step off center to your right. Back to the center. Off center to the left. Back to the center. And then put a cookie and the leash in your left hand and walk around them back to heel, keeping their nose straight. Walk around the other way, Bill. Nope, other way. Put that cookie on her nose, Let her lick it. Let her lick it. Keep your hand there. That's it. Walk. Keep it there on her nose. Keep her nose straight and go fast. Let her lick it. Good. Go. Bill, go. Go. Go fast. Good.
Okay.
Stop. Stop when you're next to her. Turn. She's in heel. Good. Praise them and feed them. Good.
Good girl. She's a good girl.
There you go. And then say free. And go. Good.
I'm having more trouble than the dog.
What's that?
You're having more trouble than you thought.
It's a lot of work. And with big dogs like Goldens, it's a lot easier to do when they're babies, because when they get big, it's harder to stretch your arm. But you need to, and this young dog I've got out is a big guy, so it's a little bit hard to keep his nose straight. But then I think of students with a Great Dane or a big Shepherd. Then it's really hard. But let's see, sit. Honey, thank you. But Bill, don't go slow. Cookie in their nose, let them lick it. Keep their nose down and just go briskly. I got this chair in my way. Go briskly and get back and feed. The purpose of the treat, if you get it above their head, they're going to get up because they want to get to the treat.
Right.
You know, let them lick it and nibble at it as you're walking around.
That's it.
I'm a lot more straight. Fuss free. Good boy. All right. So let's try that one more time. Sit your dogs next to you.
Sit.
Get a leash above their head if you need. Tell them to stay.
Okay.
Good. Go in front. Oh, just really quick, make a little border collie sit. Good. Tell her to stay and go in front. Little leash above the head if you need. Take a step or two back, little leash above their head. Good. Take a step off center to your right. Back to the center. Off center to the left. Oh, just reach and make, good girl. Back to the center. Step up close. Lower, just, it's good. Lower your left hand, put the treat in their teeth and walk around them back to heel position, keeping their nose straight. Go fast, Bill. There you go. That's, stop when you're in heel. Turn your body back, stop when you're there. Good. Praise them.
Good.
Good. Don't let them up yet. Good dog. And then exercise finish, sit free and let them get up.
Free.
Good.
You don't breathe. Bill doesn't breathe.
What's that?
Bill doesn't breathe. You think you're in boot camp?
That's right. That's right.
Oh, okay.
That's right. Then Terry, you do a lot of herding, right?
Yeah.
Terry? Oh, you're on mute, Terry. You do a lot of herding too, don't you?
Oh, he does hurt.
Yes, I do.
Yeah. So you know, solid stays are really handy
Uh-huh.
in every position. But border collies are really good at the down thing.
Thank you.
We work on a lot of stands with the bigger dogs, just like that. But
Just
That is, it's
Well,
really,
she's relaxing.
yeah. Well, and it is easier at home. I'm gonna tell you, it's a little easier at home for them to get it. Anyway, let me,
Oh, there's a herb.
okay. And you know what, I'm gonna switch dogs again. Hell. Come here, Ellie. I'm just gonna take this off, because, one, Quest, oh, you little turd. Come on, Quest.
Sit, sit.
Quest, now, let's go.
Good girl. Good girl.
All right, let me switch to Ellie because she's good at this. But I'm going to tell you guys, we're going to work on this about week 4. But let me just hook myself back up again. Not with a young dog. And I talked in the very beginning about totally setting them up to be successful. I don't want my dog to be making mistakes. I want to be able to help them, and I want to get their little butt back in place as quickly as I can. Come here, buddy. Ellie, let's go. So I'm going to show you this. Ellie, no, come. Ellie, come. Yeah. Let's hobble up a little. Good girl. Okay, so I want you guys this week there are 3 things to think about with any dog when you're teaching stay. And remember, all 3 positions are different positions. Distraction, what is going on around us? Duration, how long can they do this? And distance, how far away can I get? I always tell students to work on duration, length of time, and distance this week. Then we'll add more distractions. You want to be careful not to do too many distractions so the dog is just over the top. And coming to class will be very distracting. So if we can go, here maybe for a minute, I want you to really push it. And now we want to try to go further away. I'm not going to do this for a whole minute. I'm going to go a little further away, then for a few seconds, then step back up. And I'm going to build that gradually. Every single piece looks different to the dog. And then I'm always going to go back to heel position, praise and release. I'm going to hook to the dead ring. And again, we're going to start teaching this on week 4, but I show you this on this week because a lot of people will come back like week 3, which will be next week, or week 2. We'll kind of combine 2 and 3. We'll go over everything. But until my dog is capable of being told stay and working that hard, if you guys can see, I'm pulling on the leash. I hook to the dead ring so it's not choking the dog. I don't want you to do this yet. Don't do it. But until my dog can work that hard at stay and not 1 second before, my dog's capable of that. Even working it up to stay and walking, she's not going to move because she was told to stay. Not 1 second before, my dog is very accomplished at that. Will I ever say stay and drop the leash? Until my dog can really work on this skill, stay is with the leash in my hand and I'm helping the dog. Once my dog can really resistance stay like that, now I've got a dog who understands what I'm telling them to do better. I've got a dog that really understands much more until I come back and say, Ellie free. And we'll do that, not choking. We're going to hook to the dead ring or do a buckle collar or something like that. I only want to show you that because they will get this pretty quickly. And I don't want you just putting down the leash and going too far away.
Stay.
All right. The next thing we're going to work on, I'm going to trade dogs. Well, it's nice to have a really well-trained dog as a demo dog in class, but it's also nice to have a dog that needs a little bit of work because Ellie looks too good at this. She's good at obedience. We're going to work on walking on a leash correctly. Come on, look up. Come here, Busty. Ellie Kennel. Thank you. Good girl. All right. So some of the rules, you guys have all obviously been training, and we will do a ton of stuff next week, but, come here.
You're done.
Good. A lot of people struggle with dogs walking on leashes. Dogs want to pull you,
Mhm.
want to go wandering, sniffing, doing all kinds of things. And to me, there are some really serious rules about walking on a leash. And again, no matter how smart your dog is, the more black and white you be with what you're teaching, the better the dog will always understand. They do not understand gray areas very much. So some of my rules in just walking with the dog, when the leash goes on, when you are on a leash, it is your job to keep the leash loose. I never let them go charging off. When we're walking, I do not allow them to sniff and wander. They're not allowed to just go ranging around, sniffing. That's tuning you out. It's tuning you out, and it turns into kind of an avoidance behavior. They're just doing what they want to do. All dogs love their noses. All dogs love to sniff. If I'm walking them to eliminate or go potty, I stop moving, I stop walking with purpose, and I give them a command, go potty. I shouldn't say that too many times with a baby young dog in the house. He knows better than to go in the house, but I stop moving, we stop walking around, and I tell them to go potty. And of course they need to put their nose down and find the perfect spot. But we're not, they are not allowed to just go ranging, sniffing, and on, an hour-long walk and peeing and pooping at will wherever they want to go. In fact, around here, if we go for a walk, I let them out in the yard to eliminate before we go for the walk. They can go for an hour or two without pooping, just like we can. Always carry baggies. I think good dog owners always have baggies on them to pick up after their dog. However, a lot of dogs fall into marking behavior. Even pooping can be marking behavior. I just don't allow my dogs to engage in that. I never let them go lunging at people, friendly or not. I'm guessing that these dogs are all pretty friendly. They're not allowed to go lunging, dragging me to people. They are not allowed ever. And a lot of people are shocked by this. More professional people who do a lot of dog events and sports are not. They're like, oh, thank God somebody said it. I never allow my dogs, when they're on a leash, they are 100% of the time ever allowed to go up to other dogs, nor are other dogs ever allowed to come up to them, ever. I always tell students when they are on a leash, they're on my time. They are out with me. I'm taking time out of my busy day to work with you, to walk you because I love you and I'm training you. I will not have you running around acting like other dogs and new people are more important than me. Who puts a roof over your head and buys the dog food, right? You need to, I require you and we're out and about. I think it's kind of a nouveau idea that dogs need to walk around and greet dogs and socializing. And I always say, quote unquote, socializing. That's not who dogs are. That's not dog psychology. That is not really in their heads. In the wild, in almost any pack living animal, certainly wolves, if some stray, lone wolf went and just trotted into a pack and said, hi guys, just want to say hi, they'd kill it. They would kill it. I mean, that dogs are pack animals and they do like other dogs, but as far as I'm concerned, my dogs need to get along with the other dogs that live in our house and maybe dogs they see once in a while. I have friends who bring their dogs over to let them run, we have a couple acres fenced in for dogs, but we know the dogs, we know who is going to enjoy that behavior and we watch them pretty
Okay, we
carefully.
have to know the dogs.
I'm sorry.
It's okay if they know the dogs, they're our neighbors' dogs and they grew up together.
Never, ever on a leash.
Okay.
Ever. I would let them play, but in one of your fenced yards, take off the leashes and let them run
Okay.
and play. But
Okay.
they're not allowed to do it on a leash. They need to tune it out. Because what you will end up with is a great big dog that sees another dog and they want to drag you down the street to see the dog. Um, even with the friendly golden, there are a lot of dogs that don't like that behavior and are gonna just go after him for
Yes,
doing
you're
that, right? They don't like that. There are too many people walking around and and Terry, I don't know how much you travel and trial and show, Isla knows, at motels, or if you're walking a dog in a park and pet people running around, they've got a dog on a leash, or the dog is dragging him to your dog and they're calling, he's friendly, he's friendly. Well, I don't care. I don't care. You keep your dog away from my dog. They're just not allowed to visit when we're out walking on a leash. If they're at a safe place, I'm not a fan of dog parks. I got to tell you, I know some people, it's the only opportunity they have for their dog to, open up and run, but you have no control over the other dogs at dog parks. You don't, even meeting dogs on the street. I can guarantee you people walking around letting their dogs run up to other dogs, they don't have their vaccine history. I mean, there are pet people that their dog could have had bloody diarrhea this morning. They're taking him for a walk and letting him just run up and visit your dog. There are so many, if you're not worried about them starting a fight or ignoring you and dragging you down the street and being difficult to walk if there's any other dogs around, you don't know the health history of every other dog. So, there are many reasons that I don't let them do that. Again, sniffing, walking and sniffing. I know dogs are real quick about just snatching things up and swallowing them, especially if they think you're going to grab them. A lot of dogs have grabbed and swallowed things that are very, very dangerous for them. Even put them in ICU and in a lot of trouble, poisons and drugs. I know someone who had a little tiny mini Aussie back before we had mini Americans. And she was walking in Monument Valley Park and the dog was dragging her around and sniffing in the ground. The little dog, it was a little puppy, probably 8 pounds, grabbed a hypodermic syringe, maybe needle, whatever, bit into it and ended up, it was an 8-pound dog and God knows what was in it, heroin or, who knows. But they almost lost her, and she just let her wander and sniff and grab and eat. There's some really, really dangerous things in the world that your dog could grab. Oh, did she see herself? He see himself?
Yeah, she loves, Goldens love to look themselves in mirrors.
So, I told someone once, I had a young man in class and he was, maybe early 20s and he had a lab pit bull mix dog. It was a nice dog. And he wanted to know, his dog sometimes liked other dogs and sometimes not. And he wanted to know how to make it like other dogs all the time. And I told him all this, just don't let him visit. And I told him, ending up with a dog that thinks he gets to just go up and play with other dogs is like going on a date with a pretty girl. And every time she sees another cute guy, she deserts you entirely and flings herself in his arms and flirts endlessly and acts like the world revolves around this cute guy she just ran into on the street. And you stand there smiling, saying, she's so friendly. Boy, I wish I could teach her not to do that. She's really friendly. She loves guys, just loves guys. People say that about their dogs all the time. He just loves other dogs. He's really friendly. It doesn't matter. You're on my time. You're with me. You're with me. You get all day long. Sometimes I get when do you let him be a dog? And the answer to that is 100% of the time. He was born a dog. He's going to die a dog. And he's also got about 95% of his day to wander around, sniff and roll and play and sleep and pee and poop and do whatever he wants. The fraction of time the dogs are actually on a leash and walking with us, to me, is important time between me and the dog. It's not for them to be, just doing whatever the heck they want to do. They need, we enjoy it. I mean, it's fun, but really, I expect you to enjoy walking around with me too. Enjoyment doesn't mean you have to be lunging at every other dog you see or sniffing the ground. Let's learn to have fun walking with us on a loose leash. And dogs that walk kindly on a leash are a lot more fun to take for a walk. And people we humans tend to do that which is most comfortable. if dogs are hauling us around and it's not a lot of fun to take them for a walk, or they're choking and snorting and leaping all over on a long day, we tend to avoid taking them for a walk. And most dogs in America need a lot more exercise. So make them behave on a walk. So I'm going to show you, and then we're going to work a little bit on loose leash walking. I am a really big fan of just spending some time with a treat on their nose in a quiet place at home, backyard, front yard, garage, wherever. And you can kind of take it on the street. Because I would make these rules from this day forward. You're just not going to pull me ever. I put a cookie. We want to get our dogs on our left side. I put a treat in my left hand, and I'll get my dog here and show you. I'm just going to show my dog where I would like him to be. I'm going to put my little camera down low again. And I'm going to get my chair out of the way. Plus says I know where the cookies are. You know, and it depends on the food motivation of the dog. And I will have this with me next week. I have learned over the last year or two the beauties of what one seminar giver called dangly meat. It's bologna. Oh, you stay back. My dog wants to eat it. Strips of bologna. Dogs, you would think that bologna would be a lot like hot dogs, but there's something about strips of bologna that just flip a dog the other direction. And so I'm going to back up so you can see him. So I'm going to put, I've got bologna in my left hand. You put the leash in your right hand and put bologna in my left hand, and just spend some time showing the dog where you want him to be. Just you keep the leash very loose. Stop it. Very loose. And just show the dog where you want him to be. Training dogs to a great extent is building habits. It's just building habits. So if you spend some time just teaching the dog to walk along at your left side, and at home, you know, a little piece of cheese, gosh, maybe even kibble will work, because there's not so many distractions here and most dogs like treats. So try it. Just stand up, get the dog in my view, put a leash in your left hand.
Left or right?
I'm sorry, put the leash in your right hand, thank you. And put a treat above their nose and just take walks. Just see what they do. Just say, let's go. Let them follow the cookie, Bill. Loosen up on your leash. You have got to loosen up and let the dog follow the cookie. Loosen up. Keep your leash loose. Bill, that's still a tight leash. Loosen up. I want you to lower your right hand. That's a loose leash. Show the dog the cookie. There you go. Good. That's a loose leash. I want, in my world, I want the leash to just be a safety line. It is not there to hold the dog back or control the dog. Stop. It is only there to be a safety line. I don't want to have to hold my dog back. When I say let's go, Quest, let's go, the leash is loose. I don't have a cookie now. My dogs learn this from the time they're very little. I have more fake parts than almost anybody knows, and they can't be pulling me, and I like big dogs. So they've got to walk at a loose leash. It's 100% of the time. I don't care if there are other dogs. I don't care if there are people coming at us. They will be on a loose leash. They're not going to be running off and hauling me around. But the first step to that is showing them where you want them, especially if you've been taking walks with the dog hauling you around on a tight leash. Okay, so just loose leash, show the dog a treat. I think these guys are all doing pretty well. Because I'm going to share this video with people in the class, just people in the class that are not here. Let me move Questy back. So if anybody has a dog, sit. Come on, Questy, come on, sit. If anybody has a dog that's leaping and grabbing at the treat, like my dog is, I'm going to have the dog sit. I'm going to get my hand closer to his collar, and I'm going to dangle the cookie and show him what happens when you leap and grab. Oh, he says I'm not going to do it. If he were to leap up and grab it, I'd take the cookie away and just pop down.
Behind.
If he were to do it, I'd just take the cookie up and pop straight down. He's got to sit and behave to get the cookie. You don't get to just leap and grab at my hands. They look pretty good. I think this, just like saying sit once and stay once, this is very much a human skill to work with, because we're so used to putting on a leash and snugging up and letting the dog drag us around. So you've got to get really used to loose leash, use a treat to teach it. Once you've spent, these guys all look really good. I mean, I'll spend time doing this as long as I need to, but at some point, we need to get rid of the treat, and I get rid of the treat pretty quickly. I don't think it makes a lot of sense to dogs if we start just correcting them, but I will give a leash correction if they're starting to pull me. And I'm going to show you, because I don't know that Questy will, but I'll throw a treat. If he, let's go. I just told him, let's go. He thinks I got cookies. I'm going to pop him. You don't get to just go lunging out at the cookie. You don't get, good boy, nice choice. Good choice. He knows it's there, but he says, oh yeah, I'm not going to pull you again because I gave a little leash pop. That leash pop happens from a loose leash. It's quick and it's done. And the minute they look at you, I say, what a good dog. Very nice choice. That was good. All right. But you can give a little pop if they're lunging out. Get it loose, get them back, use a cookie if you need to. Just get them back with you. Don't let them pull you from this day forward. To me, that is a way of life. It is 100%. It's 100%. The leash is loose. The leash is only a safety line to help you make good choices. It is not there for me to try to hold you back and have you haul me down the street. All right? Loose leash, and they will learn it. Then my leash is only a safety line. It is not there to control the dog. Get ready. Heel. Touch. And I'm gonna show you first with him, but then I'm gonna get Ellie out one more time. Come here. Sit. Hurry up. Good. Heel is a place to look. It's a place to be. I don't know if he'll do this or not. Ellie heels really well, but heel is a place to put your nose. It's not necessarily an activity. If I tell you heel, I want your nose right here. I've got a cookie dangling on his nose because he really doesn't know this yet. Heel, yes. Okay, it's right here. I'm going to tell you what I would have you do this week, and then I'll show you what heel should look like with a trained dog. Because this one is not that guy. Quest sit. You. Good. Okay. I'm going to have you. This is a great focus game, and it builds attention span. Get them at your left side, and it builds, because we'll do kind of this week's go over it with everybody and week 3's lessons next week. And if we go over a little bit, we may go over a little bit. But spend time this week putting a cookie on their nose, bringing their nose up, and just say, I say ready. You can say watch or ready. Good, ready, good. Get it. I tell them get it when I'm going to allow them to get the cookie. I put the dog in nice heel position. I say ready, good, ready, good. Get it, good. And make them work longer and longer with the cookie above their head, just looking at you. It builds attention span, and it builds their ability to just really look up at your left hand. It's great for really nice. That's gorgeous, Isla. That looks good. Let me get Ellie. Come on, Elvin. Hurry up. Go. Get West. Kenna.
I didn't drop it. Yes. Where did it go?
He says, I don't want to. I want to stay out. I like this cookie game. All right. Let me just switch dogs. But ultimately, and this dog admittedly she loves to heel. She's a really fun obedience dog because she thinks it's the greatest game to look at my left hand. With heel, I am teaching them to look at my left hand. I don't want them looking at my face. I want them looking at my left hand. Let me get her out here. So just let's go, Ellie, let's go. And they can be a little foot, that's a little bit loose and looking around. Ellie, heel. She puts her head up. She does not even flicker. She sits when I stop. Ellie, heel. And if I turn, she's been told to heel. She's got to stay right here. She's a competition dog and she heels well. It's one of her many great skills. Heel. Good. No matter what, when she's been told to heel, she keeps her nose up looking at me. Get in. You get your butt back. Get in. Good girl. Sit. Good. And that was without a cookie and a trained dog. I just pulled one out of my hand and gave it to her. So this week, just to build skills for that next week, have your dog sit next to you, treat on your hand and just say ready. Just give them ready. If they can sit and just stare at you stationary for even up to a minute or two while waiting for that cookie, get it, good. While waiting for you to give it to them, it will make moving with that kind of focus next week a whole lot easier. All right.
Okay.
So, any questions on that stuff? I think this one pretty well. I'd rather be in person so I could see the whole class. And I know a lot of you guys would have come, but when 50% of the class is not going to leave, then it really is hard to get them on the same page. I will send them all this recording so they can see it too. So it'll be a good tool for them.
Okay.
Okay. Any questions on this stuff?
No.
Okay. I will email notes to everybody. I always have an outline. Every week we teach new skills. I have an outline of what we worked on.
Mhm.
And if you want, I'll send this video link to everybody. So if you want to look back at anything, if you're struggling with anything, you're welcome to just look back at the video and kind of remember if you're struggling with anything. Okay. I know it's really simple, certainly for folks like Isla who've trained 1 billion dogs. Next week, we're going to start with sit stay, but we're going to start down stay. We're going to play with hand signals. We're going to start healing. We're going to do a lot of stuff like that. This stuff from first week with dog is just all real basic stuff to help you take a big step next week when we start doing a lot of other things.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. I'm so sorry about the weather. I know there's
Oh,
nothing I can do
it's
about
not
it.
your fault. It's still snowing here, so.
Yeah, it's clearing up
so
out
it's just-
here. I have high
Yeah.
hopes that my evening classes can go on in town.
Yeah,
Anyway,
it's snowing here. So,
Yeah.
Okay, well, I
Have a
talk to
good
you
one.
later.
bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Thank
Kelly?
you. Yes, ma'am.
Kelly,
Yes.
you mentioned before that you were going to be gone next week, but now you're not. That's right.
Not going to be gone next week, the week after. We're just going to leave Friday.
Your original email though said you were going to be gone for
Correct.
2 weeks. So I
I
thought,
didn't
I don't know if
know.
everybody knows.
I didn't know if they were going to do fun